This is Alexa Patrick. I am a poet, a singer, and an educator, and this is the After Series. My mother once flattened my father's tires because my father kept driving on the grass after my mother told him not to. And in only a few months after the divorce finalized, she, anticipating his disobedience with a puncturing joy, delicately placed 11 nails on the barren area and awaited his return. I still hear the rusted words crowd the rental car, swell enough to drown Stevie Wonder's A Time to Love cooing in the background. I knew the Toys R Us sprees, the large pizzas, had deeper roots yet to surface, each feeling more apology than play. My father's face, cracked like a drought, the lack of sleep, something running him over. My mother was just fine. Wanted my father gone but the lawn to keep the flowers he planted. Bulbs nodded, stubborn fists refusing to sprout or take direction. My mother took consequence into her hands, tilled it with green thumbs, tells the story to this day behind laughter. My father drove us back after 2 days at the Sheraton, after swimming pools, movies, a small vacation from a home to which he never fully returns. Every time he does, my brother and I grow taller, like weeds, he says, mourning what he can no longer tend to, has only half of, a garden of grief pressed at his skin again. He dropped us off, ran over the grass, backed out of his once driveway. Shaking her head, my mother watched him try to re-sow what power he had, then leave, confident, like she wouldn't eventually make her point. My mother once flattened my father's tires because my father kept driving on the grass after my mother told him not to. I like this line because the title becomes a part of the poem. Super simple. I just like how I did that. It's fun. My mother was just fine. Wanted my father gone, but the lawn to keep the flowers he planted. I like this section of the poem for a couple reasons. One, I just like how it sounds to have father gone, but the lawn. I like the rhythm that it adds there. It's fun to say. I usually call that like yummy words when it's like, ooh, this is fun to say. I also like the metaphor that I'm using there. So my mother was just fine, wanted my father gone, but the lawn to keep the flowers he planted. So the flowers can be the flowers that he actually planted when I was a child, or the flowers can be me and my brother. And that's what I wanted to get at, that even though he is missing this home that he helped build, what he's really missing is this family that he once had. My brother and I grow taller, like weeds, he says, mourning what he can no longer tend to, has only half of, a garden of grief pressed at his skin. So this line, or this stanza rather, I love because, again, it is getting at this metaphor of my brother and I being something that my father planted, being something that he tended to like a garden, and now he can no longer witness it grow. He can no longer tend to it in the way that he did before. So I love the extension of the flower metaphor. It's fun to me. Again, I love a good metaphor. What can I say? Whenever I'm stuck on what to write, I think about family history. We are the product of so many generations and so many legacies. Sometimes we forget that we contain an entire library of stories to tell. Maybe I'll call my mom or my grandfather and speak to them about their childhoods. I gather the heartfelt and the heartbreaking, and I think about what those stories say about my place in the world. Today, we are archaeologists, excavating our stories and blowing off the dust. I must warn you, before you dig too deep, make sure that those involved in the story would feel okay with you sharing. Make sure that you yourself are okay with sharing the story. Being a writer is a big responsibility because your words are supposed to reflect different hearts and different worlds. Step 1. You have 2 options for this section depending on your time. You can, 1, speak to an older family member or a chosen family member and interview them. My favorite questions are, what were you like when you were my age? What did you hope for me when I was younger and why? What story from your past makes you laugh the hardest? But of course, you can ask anything and see where the conversation goes. If you don't have time to speak to a family member, take a look back at your own memory. Think about the things that you have witnessed as a child that you now understand better that you're older. Think about the things that you witnessed that you still have questions about. Think about the times that you laughed the hardest. Depending on whatever option or hybrid of both options that you chose, choose the story that excites you the most. This will be the topic of your poem. Step 2. One of my favorite things about writing about the past is adding in small references that mark the time and set the scene. In my piece, I use Stevie Wonder's album, A Time to Love, to mark the time. The reader then knows I'm talking about a time in the early 2000s. Thinking of the time in which your story takes place, list the music, movies, clothing, and other indicators of culture that took place around the same time. I also encourage you to do some research here. Google is your friend. Step 3. What makes for an honest poem is complexity. So often we are quick to label things, people even, good or bad, right or wrong. We tend to think in binary terms when the world is way more muddied and complicated, which is also more fun, if you ask me. Given your topic, I want you to think about the list of characters that you have in your story. Make them human. By that, I mean, think about what makes them, them. What are their quirks? Don't only tell us who they are, but show us. How did they behave? What do you think are the reasons for how they behaved? Even if the only character is you. If you are able, get into groups to discuss your story and the characters in the story. If you are unable, write a list of the characters from your topic and answer these questions for each of them. Step 4. Okay, now you are ready to present your findings. Using what you have gathered, write a poem retelling a moment in your family's history. Show the complexity of the characters in your story. Make them human. Then make sure to scatter some of the culture of the time throughout your piece and set the scene. Last but not least, make the first line of the story the title of your poem. For example, my mother once flattened my tires. I knew it was too soon to remove the training wheels, ... My grandfather learned he had 2 left feet, ... I find that this can help hook the audience in, and it's fun. All right, y'all, thank you so much. Again, my name is Alexa Patrick, and this was my After series. I would love to read and hear the poems that you all have written after this prompt. So come find me on social media. You can find me at Alexa Laurel. That is ALEXALAUREL. Thank you.